Please don't let me be misunderstood. So the internet just restarted the meeting. So I'm assuming that I have fluctuating internet connection. I hope going forward we'll have a smoother connection. So I had to restart the meeting altogether. All right, so let's look at number one. Let's start back from the beginning. It says, this question is from Term 1, Unit 1. How can we promote and preserve our Caribbean culture? And the objective is to develop working definitions for and use the following terms: indentured servants, indentureship, contract, festival, carnival, immigrants, migration, and push and pull factors. Question 1 reads, which of the following would be most helpful in finding the meaning of the word indentureship? Would an atlas be most helpful? Would a dictionary be most helpful, or a mathematics textbook, or www.india.com? Which one of these we would use to find the word indentureship? While an atlas is related to social studies, we might necessarily not find that definition in the atlas. About a dictionary, we know that the dictionary has the meaning for practically almost all the words that we use. So we can lean more towards the dictionary. A mathematics textbook will definitely not have that meaning. And we're not sure what is on www.india.com. So we're gonna go with dictionary. So that's the most appropriate answer, or the most helpful. All right, let's move on to number 2. It says, read the paragraph below and complete the table by writing the push factor and the pull factor for each person. Leroy Chang left China to work in Jamaica for a few years. He was from a very poor family. Mr. Chang heard that he could make a lot of money working on a sugar estate in Jamaica. While working on the plantation, he met Mr. Lin Sam, who came to Jamaica from Trinidad. He had completed his contract, and the plantation he was working on was seriously damaged by flooding and insects. Let's look at the push factor for Leroy Chang and the pull factor for Leroy Chang. What are some of the push factors? What do we know push factor to be? So a push factor is something that forces you to leave your country and go to another country. And a pull factor is something that would be pulling you, as the words already allude, pulling you towards another country. So you would leave your country to go to that country because of some of the benefits that are in that country. So those are the pull factors. So we can say for Leroy Chang, one of the push factors why he would have left China is poverty. We can have poverty. And one of the pull factors that would pull him to Jamaica is that there were jobs available. So we can say job opportunity. We chose poverty for Leroy Chang because it says that he was from a very poor family. So poverty is a push factor. His family was poor, so they were experiencing poverty, so that would push him to go to another country. He heard that he could learn a lot of money in Jamaica working on the sugar estate. So that job opportunity would pull him towards Jamaica. Mr. Lin Sam, he came from Trinidad, and his plantation that he was working on was seriously damaged. So we could say something that would push him from Trinidad would have been natural disaster. And something that would pull him towards Jamaica is also job opportunities. Because he probably thought that he could get another job on a plantation here in Jamaica that wasn't severely damaged like his previous plantation. So those are some of the push and pull factors. There are others, but these are the most appropriate based on the passage that we were given. All right. Let's move on to number 3. It says, when Leroy Chang arrived in Jamaica, he was best described as was it a newcomer, an immigrant, a settler, or a traveler? If we know the meaning of the word, we'll know that an immigrant is someone who leaves from another country to come and live or work in a new country. So it would have been an immigrant. Let's move on to number 4. The instructions read the extract below and answer question 4. This contract is made on the 19th day of August in the year 1873 between Patrick Long and Raj Patel. Patrick Long will provide food, clothing, and housing in return. Raj Patel will work on the sugar plantation for 3 years. The question reads, which of the following is the best meaning for the word contract as used in the extract below? Is contract a decrease in size, a decrease in the number, an agreement between 2 persons, or a note with names and dates? So we're not seeing a decrease in size, either are we seeing a decrease in number. What it seems like here in this contract is an agreement made between Patrick Long and Raj Patel. Patrick Long has agreed to provide food, clothing, and housing, and Raj Patel in turn will work on the plantation for 3 years. So this is an agreement. It's not just a note with names, and dates, but it is an agreement made between 2 persons to follow through with something. Contract. Let's move on to the next question. And if we realize the structure of this test, there's a lot of reading taking place and analyzing these passages to figure out what it is asking. So we definitely need that skill to be developed. It says, read the paragraph below and answer question 5. Crop over started in Barbados during slavery to mark the end of the sugar crop. It is celebrated every year from June to August. The celebration include a parade with music and dancing. It is like a party with many private and public events. The question reads, which term best describes the activities in the paragraph? Is it a festival? Is it a fair, a gathering, or a parade? So what does a festival include? Is it a celebration with parade and dancing? Is it public events and private events? A fair is usually one day. It's not usually a set of events, or it's usually one event. And a gathering is not necessarily an event with a prolonged celebration. It's just some persons coming together. And a parade also is probably one event as well. But if we have a particular festival, such as here in Jamaica, we have the Reggae Sunfest Festival, and we have also the Jazz and Blues Festival. Those festivals are series of events over a set of days. So the best term to describe the activities in the paragraph would be festival. All right, so we're moving on to our next objective from the curriculum. This curriculum is based on gathering information and using mathematical skills to construct a timeline showing the arrival of various ethnic groups to the Caribbean. But what is a timeline? A timeline is a list of events arranged in order in which they happen. It begins with the earliest time and moves forwards through the time. Let's move on to number 6. Number 6 says, which of the following would be the most reliable source to find the date when the Emancipation Act was passed? Would it be government records? These are records held by the government. Would it be personal diaries, things that you write down for yourself? Would it be school records at your schools? Or would it be personal letters? The most reliable source, and reliable means that the one that is more creditable or credible. And that would have been the government records. Personal diary or personal letters, that's from someone else's views or opinions, and that would not be as reliable as the government records, which would have been more official. The school records would have totally been something that would be not appropriate to use. Let's move on to number 7. Which is the correct order in which the historical events happened in the Caribbean? Was it the arrival of the Spaniards, then the arrival of the Africans, then the Morant Bay Rebellion, and the passing of the Emancipation Act, or was it the arrival of the Spaniards, then the arrival of the Africans, then the passing of the Emancipation Act, then the Morant Bay Rebellion, or was it the Morant Bay Rebellion, the Emancipation Act, the arrival of the Spaniards, then the arrival of the Africans, or was it the Emancipation, then the arrival of the Spanish, the Morant Bay Rebellion, and then the arrival of the Africans? So we know that the indigenous persons to the island initially was the Tainos or the Arawaks. And after that, the Spaniards came and colonized them or wiped them out and took over Jamaica. So we know that the arrival of the Spaniards were first. And then afterwards, they had the arrival of the Africans. These Africans were enslaved and then started Mark Bay Rebellion. And then after that, the Emancipation Act was passed. So we're going to select A to be the correct. So we're going to move on to the next question. By moving on to the next question, we're going to be completing the timeline below by inserting the events and the dates for these events. So in what year did the British arrive in Jamaica? And this was in 1655. So we can insert 1655 here. What happened in 1838? We know that 1838, the Emancipation Act was passed, so we can put Emancipation Act, Emancipation Act. And in 1962, we know that Jamaica gained independence there, so we can put independence in D, P, N, D, and C. So that completes the timeline. So in 1655, we had the arrival of the British. Then in 1838, we had the Emancipation Act. And in 1962, we had independence. Number 9 comes from a different objective from the curriculum. And that objective is to create a thematic map of the world showing the places of origin of the ethnic groups that came to Jamaica or came to the Caribbean. What is a thematic map, though? A thematic map shows information about a particular theme or topic. So one of the things that we need to know when looking at the thematic map are the continents. Let's move on to question 9. Which of the following are correctly matched? English for Asia, East Indian for England, Africans for Spain, and French for Europe. This map is for number 10. Are the English located in Asia? No, they're not. They're located in Europe. Are the East Indians located in England? No, they're not. They're located in India. Are the Africans located in Spain? No, they're not. They're located in Africa. Are the French located in Europe? Well, France is located in Europe, so we can safely say that French is in Europe. So we put in here. Or D to be the correct answer. Then number 10 provides a map of the world with some shapes on the map. It says, look carefully at the map of the world above and complete the key below for the map. By writing the name, look carefully at the map of the world above and complete the key below for the map by writing the name of the ethnic group and the name of the continent. So the name of the ethnic group for the triangle, remember we said that we have to know the different continents. So which ethnic group came from here on the continent? Let's look. So the ethnic group, we can have the Europeans here. So this over here is Europe. And we know a key, otherwise known as a legend, to be used to tell what symbols and color mean on a map, and helps you to unlock the map or to see where different things are on the map. So we're gonna say Europeans, Europeans, and the name of the continent is Europe. Where the rectangle is located, that's Asia, and the ethnic group that came from Asia right here were the Chinese. And the continent again in Asia. And where the diamond is, that's the ethnic group of Africans, and those Africans came from the continent of Africa. All right. We'll do a little over 10 questions, seeing as though we're moving pretty fast for today. As I said, the students are not here with me. This is a delayed broadcast, broadcasting of what should have been done on Thursday, the 21st. The objective for number 11 is categorizing aspects of culture as goods and services. Goods are things that people make or grow to sell, while services are jobs people do for others and for which they are sometimes paid. So we're going to be reading the flyer below to answer question 11. So the flyer reads, Heroes Day Fair, Downs Community. And they have the maple, Jonkony, Dinky Mini. They have cargot and roti, fish and bami, and dukunu. And they also have Anansi stories and drumming at this fair. Let's come and enjoy. Complete the table by writing the goods and the services on the flyer in the correct column. So we're gonna move on to the goods first. And those goods are usually the food. As I said, the goods are things that we make and grow to sell. So the things that we'll make and grow are the curry and roti. Curry and roti. We'll also make the fish and bami to sell. Fish and bami. And we'll also make the dukunu. They're all food items. All right. And we can separate these or we can have them dry, either way. Either way is acceptable. These services are the things that people will be doing, are the jobs that people will be doing. So those services are the drumming, storytelling, So the Anansi stories will classify as storytelling, and we have the drumming. And all of these are dances, Maypole, Jonkun, and Dinkimini, sorry, are dances. So we can say dancing is also a service. So the foods that are sold at the Heroes Day Fair would have been the goods and the things that are being done by the individuals are done by people that are not tangible, but are intangible that you cannot touch. Those are the services. Let's move on to number 12. The objective read, they discuss the contribution of the East Indian and the Chinese to the Jamaican economy. The economy includes all the activities related to making, selling, and buying of goods and services. So we're going to be discussing the contribution of different ethnic groups to the Jamaican economies, more specifically the Indians and the Chinese. And for number 12, there's a paragraph attached. We're going to be reading the paragraph to answer the question. The Chinese are here. Lance Nita. The Chinese genius for trading came with the early immigrants. The Chinese genius for trading came with the early immigrants, who started the line of grocery shops that have become their trademark across the country. Known as Chinese shops, they could be found in almost every village and town, and were the forerunners of the grocery and dry goods business establishment, including the supermarkets that first opened in Jamaica in the 1950s. Question 12 has a table. It says, put a tick in the column to show which statement is supported or not supported by the paragraph. This statement reads, the Chinese were the first to open supermarkets in the country. Let's go back to the paragraph because we're looking for this evidence whether it's supported or not supported by the paragraph. It says that the sentence says that known as Chinese shop, they could be found in almost every village and town and were the forerunners of grocery and dry goods establishment, including the Chinese built the Chinese shops that were found in the different villages, including supermarkets that were first opened in Jamaica in the 1950s. So yes, it's supported by the passage. So they built the Chinese shop, which are dry goods businesses, establishments, and grocery stores, including the supermarkets. So it is supported. Let's look at the next statement. The Chinese were very good businessmen before they came to Jamaica. Was that shown in the passage? The Chinese genius for trading came with the early immigrants who started a line of grocery shops that have become their trademark across the country. It didn't say whether they were very good businessmen before they came to Jamaica, so we can say that it's not supported. Let's look at number 13. The objective for number 13 is that we're going to be describing various strategies that are used to promote Caribbean culture. But what is a strategy? A strategy is a plan of action to achieve a particular goal. Let's look at the question. It says, which of the following would help to promote Caribbean culture? Would it be a festival held in the Caribbean or held in different Caribbean countries every 4 years that showcases Caribbean music and food? Would it be a television show that has programs about the history of Africa, India, and China? Would it be a radio program that talks about Caribbean government? Or would it be a book that has information on the arrival of different ethnic groups to the Caribbean? Which would help to promote Caribbean culture? So we know that culture has to do with the food, the music, and the people. So we can definitely say A would be the best to help to promote Caribbean culture. All the others does not promote Caribbean culture. Let's move on to number 14. The objective for number 14 is to identify various ways of preserving Caribbean culture. Number 14 says, which of the following is most likely to preserve Jamaican culture? Airing on television programs about Jamaican culture once per year, playing American music on the radio every day, going to the beach on Heroes Day, or teaching about Jamaican culture in schools. The one that is most likely to preserve the culture is not necessarily airing the television programs about Jamaican culture once per year. While that showcases the culture, it doesn't preserve the culture. B and C would not suffice because that has nothing to do with Jamaican culture. However, D would be most likely because teaching it will help to reinforce Jamaican culture and more likely preserve it because more people would be learning about it and hence they will be able to teach others about it. So D would be most likely to preserve Jamaican culture. Similar to all the worksheets that I've looked at in our videos, the curriculum-based marathon, those will be placed on the website. The website will be shown in the description of the video. So you can go ahead and look at the description and also visit the website to get the materials that were used in each video. So we're going to close off with term 1, unit 2. And the theme is, how did Jamaica achieve independence? And the objectives that we are looking at is to examine, compare, and evaluate multiple sources that outline the life and work of Marcus Garvey, Norman Manley, and Alexander Bustamante. Question 15 reads, which of the following founded the Jamaica Labour Party? Was it Alexander Bustamante? Was it Michael Manley? Was it Norman Manley or Edward Seaga? The person that founded the Jamaica Labour Party was Alexander Bustamante. And that's a pretty straightforward question once we know the answer. Number 16 reads, which of the following national hero was born in St. Anne's? St. Anne. Was it Sam Sharp, Paul Bogle, or Alexander Bustamante? And the answer would have been Marcus Garvey. The other heroes were born in different parishes other than St. Anne. And we can do our research. Sam Sharp was in St. James. Paul Bogle was in St. Thomas. Number 17 reads, which of the following sources would provide credible information on the life of Marcus Garvey? Would it be Liberty Hall Museum, Facebook page, blog, or article in the magazine? The correct answer is Liberty Hall Museum. That is a museum started by the work of Marcus Garvey, and it has all the information that we would need to know about Marcus Garvey, and is an actual credible source because it is an official establishment that was set up for that purpose. So the answer is A. We're not going to move on to this new objective. This is where we're going to end for today. Even though it continues under the same theme, all of this other information can be accessed by the website where you can sit and go through the remaining questions from this booklet. So that is where we really end for today's broadcast of the Social Studies Marathon. Again, continue to press forward. We are almost there to the end of this grade 6 PEP or Primary Exit Profile journey for 2022. We will do the language arts and science curriculum-based test on Wednesday. And then we'll do the mathematics and social studies curriculum-based test on Thursday, and that's where we end. I know we are so anxious to complete this hurdle. I too am a tad bit exhausted, and most of us as grade 6 students and teachers would have given up our Easter holiday. We did not have an Easter holiday because we were preparing for our examination. So I know that we're all looking forward to that overdue celebration of holiday or vacation or whatever we want to term it as after the examinations have subsided. So again, I will not be doing the individual past papers, but you'll see them on the website. Good luck. All the best in your examinations, and take care until we do another video where I can interact with you again. All right, bye. That's where we end for today.